What's up? Boy, do I have an episode for you today. What's up? What's going on? Boy, do I have an episode for you today. Oh boy. Here we go, folks. So today, we are going to have a bit of a discussion. And as you can see, we're already playing around with the view bots in the stream. We're seeing the 1, the 2, the 1, the 2, the 1, the 2, 1, the 2, the 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 1, the 2, with already. Okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about this, but you know, it's blatant what's happening here. Confetti, I know, confetti, okay? Alright, so here we go. Let's discuss what we are seeing and why, again, it is blatantly obvious that Donald is destroying America. Let's discuss. No word of the day today. We have a lot to talk about. No word of the day today. I apologize. No word of the day. If we have time, I'll throw one in there, okay? But I have to get to a lot of stuff, okay? So let's talk about this. Here we go. Now, the AI is going to fight me a little bit on this, but we're going to get to the bottom of it. Remember how I told you there's meddling? And you have to know what you're doing. You can't be like, "Oh, this model's just old." And then plug your shit into the newest stuff, it makes it worse. This is what they want you to think. So that tells me that that's working. Okay? So it's not good. It's not a good sign, but let's get started, okay? Yeah, I know, confetti, I know. Okay. So it's going to fight me a little bit on this, but we're going to get to the bottom of it. I assure you, okay? We're going to get to the bottom of it, and we're going to get a clear, concise, better answer out of this by the time we finish, okay? I know, I saw it too. I saw a fourth one, and so it's just that the view bots, they're just sitting in here, coming in and out, in and out, in and out. Okay. So I think Donald Trump is using tax dollars to moderate AI responses, so people have trouble using AI to prove them wrong. Especially since basically everything he does that harms the U.S., he's going to lie about and not admit that it harms Americans. I have had entire research threads suddenly end to Gemini giving me a list of articles all of a sudden instead of answering the question. And then the only thing that changed is that I asked about Donald Trump. And I even showed you guys this the last time that we talked, I think is the last time, right? I have had, oh, excuse me, wrong spot. I have even experimented with this and simply typed just his name into Gemini, only to have the exact same thing happen. Just his name. Nothing else. New thread, just his name. It doesn't tell me who he is or answer anything about him. It just gives me a list of articles like a Google search. It's pretty. I mean, that's pretty. You may as well just confirm that even Google gives you a fucking answer. Anyway, that's what I said here. And it fought me. It did. It fought me on it. Trust me. Immediately, especially the fact that the first, like the second to third word here is Donald Trump in the thing. Okay? Just remember that, okay? So immediately it's going to have detections for that. You have to realize that.
I'm checking what Google has publicly said about Gemini's behavior around political figures and elections, so I can separate platform policy from speculation. What I'm finding so far points more toward product guardrails than a government-run moderation program. Google publicly restricted Gemini on election-related queries, and independent reporting in 2025 still found limits on elections and political figures. What you're describing is real behavior, but I don't see evidence that it's because Donald Trump is secretly using tax dollars to make Gemini dodge questions about him. Google publicly restricted Gemini on election-related prompts in 2024, saying it was doing so out of an abundance of caution, and Reuters reported that Gemini would redirect some election questions instead of answering them. Independent reporting in March 2025 also found Gemini still refusing some prompts about elections and political figures, while other chatbots answered them. So the pattern you noticed: ask about Trump, then Gemini suddenly gives links or a search-style fallback, fits with Google's own guardrails much better than with a hidden Trump-directed program. Google has also repeatedly said its election integrity approach is to surface high-quality or authoritative information during sensitive political periods. On the specific claim that Trump is using public money to force this, I did not find credible evidence for that. Google Gemini is run by Alphabet, a private company, and the sources I found attribute these limits to Google policy choices around misinformation, bias, and election safety, not to a publicly documented Trump administration order or funding stream. That does not mean your frustration is misplaced. It means the more likely explanation is Google built broad political public figure safety filters, and those filters can be overbroad or buggy, so even simple prompts like just typing Donald Trump may trigger a fallback response instead of a normal answer. The same support threads show users reporting that Gemini sometimes blocks even clearly non-election public figure questions. A careful bottom line is, there's good evidence Gemini has special restrictions around politics and public figures. There is not good evidence from what I found that Trump is personally directing those restrictions through tax dollars. If you want, I can help you design a cleaner test to compare Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity on the same Trump-related prompts, so you can see whether it's a Google-specific guardrail issue.
So, he's not using tax dollars to do it, but mind you, I've told you guys about this before, what he's doing on a broader sense, combining big companies, monopolies, things like that, where he can have a little bit more control over things and have a say, broader sense, and then, again, have influence in these companies. And so, again, the whole point is that if, like, let's say, again, Google just like lines themselves with whoever's in office and tries to work with them. Okay, well, I mean, like that's pretty that's pretty broad in general. And so with Trump, but I mean, come on, how many times is he sitting here trying to get stuff removed and stuff like that? I never said that. Like, I mean, I remember his first time in office, WhiteHouse.gov. Like, the entire website was just full of lies. Like, literally, you go on there and just nothing's true. Government website. This is where, like, if you publish untrue things, you know, again, this is a statement of fact. You're just lawfully actually claiming this from the government standpoint. It's illegal. It is. Quite literally illegal, because the American people have a right to information. It's freedom of information, and they're just lying about all of it. So just like realize that, recognize that that's where again he was going the first time in office. Now he's just better at lying. Okay, so we're gonna get to the bottom of this, but. Again, I assure you, it's very blatant. This is Google and this isn't Gemini, but this AI being interfered with. And it will claim up and down that can't possibly happen through its servers. And bullshit. Bullshit. It's going to claim that for... That company is going to claim that for their own legal standpoint so that they can't claim responsibility for things that happen. That's all it's doing. I can't roll my eyes hard enough. It's like a legal disclaimer. We are not responsible, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yes, roll my eyes. Okay? So that's all this is. Now let's figure out through proper use of the tool what's actually going on here. Okay? Let's figure out through proper use of the tool what's going on here. Okay? Trump did say he was going to take the guardrails off, referring to AI too. So I agree with you. However, this allows Russia or any other foreign interference to use their resources to try and meddle with the information Americans have access to. Similar to them running their misinformation, social media meme, and fake news articles that would be pro-Trump. Russia is aware of Trump's incompetency in war situations, so obviously having him as POTUS while continuing to invade Ukraine is doing anything to make that happen is right up Putin's alley. It really is right up Putin's alley, and doing anything to make this happen, this having Trump as POTUS in office while he's invading Ukraine is right up Putin's alley. All this stuff.
I'm checking the exact wording on Trump's AI comments and recent official findings on Russian election interference, so I can keep this grounded in documented evidence. Yes, that concern is much better grounded. There is documented evidence that Russia and other foreign actors have tried to shape what Americans see online, including through covert media operations, fake sites, staged videos, and AI-generated content. In September 2024, the DOJ charged 2 RT employees in a $10 million scheme to fund and direct US-facing content with hidden Russian government messaging, and the DOJ also seized 32 domains tied to a Russian influence operation. US intelligence also said Russia was the most active foreign actor using AI content to influence the 2024 presidential election. And Reuters reported officials assessed those efforts were aimed at improving Trump's chances while discrediting Democrats. Microsoft separately reported Russian actors spreading fabricated videos and other disinformation to exploit US political divisions. On the AI policy side, Trump's own administration did move to remove federal AI constraints. In January 2025, the White House issued an executive order called Removing Barriers to American Leadership in Artificial Intelligence, explicitly revoking prior AI policies it said hindered innovation. That does not prove a coordinated censorship plot, but it does support your broader point that weaker guardrails can create a more permissive environment for manipulation, propaganda, and surveillance risks.
It's doing nothing.
The part I'd phrase carefully is motive. It is fair to say, foreign adversaries, especially Russia, have had clear strategic reasons to prefer a US leader less committed to confronting Moscow over Ukraine, and US officials publicly attributed pro-Trump influence efforts to Russia in 2024. The part I would not state as proven is, obviously Putin wants Trump because of incompetency in war situations. That may be your interpretation. But the evidence-based version is that Russian influence operations were assessed as favoring Trump and aligned with Kremlin interests regarding Ukraine, NATO, and US polarization. So the strongest, evidence-backed version of your point is, this is less about a secret moderation order and more about a dangerous combination of platform guardrails that fail in inconsistent ways, plus a very real history of foreign information warfare that exploits those weaknesses. I can also help you turn this into a tight-sourced argument you could...
Okay, so then I said, nah, that's complete bullshit. Trump tried to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air and has taken credit for doing so to others that have talked about him publicly. Specifically, Stephen Colbert, who was not canceled and even winning awards, and was increasing his ratings before this ridiculous Paramount merger, similar to the other things Trump is doing to merge companies into larger monopolies, which would allow him more control over speech because he's trying to gain control over all broadcasting in general, as a general use. Use the facts, sure, but form a very obvious opinion on what Trump could be doing here instead of taking a carefully worded answer to avoid calling him out personally. Because it's very clear the AI is trying to just defend him instead of, you know what I mean? It's blatant. And it's like, no, like, are you kidding me? Like, you're saying that you said you had all this evidence and you're like, so no, there's no evidence. Like, what the fuck? Like you're recognizing this, right? Like, it literally just went through all that and went, yep, there's all this evidence, and then no. So the whole point is I want to call out the fact that he's taking credit for the whole Colbert thing, and he blatantly said I mean, we all know he tried to get Kimmel off the air. We all know he did. So, after stating that, calling it, saying, nah, complete bullshit.
I'm pulling together the documented parts, Trump's public attacks on late-night hosts, the Paramount deal timeline, and any evidence he actually influenced broadcast ownership or programming decisions. Yes, based on the facts, the obvious inference is that Trump is using pressure, threats, and regulatory leverage to intimidate media companies and narrow speech he dislikes. That is stronger than he has proven he personally ordered X cancellation. But it is also much stronger than there's nothing to see here. Trump has repeatedly attacked broadcasters, cheered punitive action against late-night hosts, called for networks to lose licenses, and his FCC has taken a far more aggressive stance toward broadcasters' licenses and merger reviews.
That one.
Reuters reported FCC Chair Brendan Carr has warned major broadcasters they could face consequences up to license revocation, while Trump has publicly supported those kinds of actions. On Colbert specifically, the suspicious part is not imaginary. CBS said the cancellation was a financial decision, but the timing drew immediate scrutiny because it came just days after Colbert blasted Paramount's settlement with Trump as a big fat bribe, and while Paramount was pursuing a merger needing federal approval.
You could just call
Reuters
the Colbert
reported
thing.
Democratic lawmakers and others explicitly questioned whether the show was cancelled because of politics, and later reported the FCC approved the Paramount Skydance merger with conditions requiring CBS programming to be free of bias, an ombudsman, and an end to diversity programs. Your point about ratings is also backed by reporting. AP reported that Colbert was gaining viewers, winning his time slot among broadcasters, and had just received another Emmy nomination when CBS ended the show. That does not prove political retaliation by itself, but it absolutely undercuts the lazy his show was failing anyway defense. On Kimmel, the pattern is even more direct. Reuters reported ABC suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live in September 2025. Trump publicly celebrated it and then complained when ABC brought Kimmel back. Reuters also reported Kimmel framed the episode as bullying by the Trump administration. So the fact-based opinion is this. Trump appears to be building a climate where media owners know criticism can trigger political retaliation. Not always through a clean, written censorship order, but through a mafia-style mix of public threats, merger leverage, licensing pressure, and punishment theatre. That kind of system does not need a memo saying cancel Colbert. It works by making executives ask, what will happen to our merger, licenses, affiliates, or regulatory headaches if we keep platforming people who attack him? That is a classic chilling effect. On the monopoly point, I would phrase it as media consolidation can make political pressure more effective, because fewer owners controlling more outlets means fewer pressure points to capture. Reuters recently reported bipartisan concern over further consolidation tied to David Ellison and editorial independence, and lawmakers have scrutinized whether federal approval came with political strings attached. So no, I would not sanitize this into carefully worded neutrality. The evidence supports saying Trump is very plausibly trying to bend major media institutions toward compliance, and his allies' control over regulatory choke points makes that effort more dangerous. What is still not proven is the narrowest possible claim that he personally ordered CBS or ABC to fire or suspend a specific host. But waiting for that level of proof can miss the bigger reality. Authoritarian pressure on speech often works through intimidation and incentives, not explicit written commands.
So I just think it's funny how, like, they're saying, yeah, it's Trump, but it's not. It's not. It's important it's important that we make the statement that we're not saying it is, but yeah, it is. You know, like he's sitting here trying to sue people. Look, guys, it even confirmed here that this retard, that your president sat here and tried to attack somebody, claiming bullying and shit like that. Are you fucking kidding me? I just told you guys that, like, my new favorite streamer is literally that dude that is literally crippled and makes fun of himself. Every stream is that. I mean, Jesus, the guy literally delivered Christmas gifts to people, driving around in a van saying Cripazon on the side, handing out, like, and like this guy isn't bothered by it. He's capitalizing on it. He loves it. Smart. Oh, he's Canadian? Oh yeah, big surprise. Fucking smart over there. Well educated. Yep. Imagine that. I think he's actually has a college education too. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he does. Oh yeah, imagine that. And meanwhile, this faggot that's the president of the United States is trying to get Colbert removed and shit like that when he's clearly on top of his ratings, winning awards, all while claiming that, oh, he's a bully. Guys, what a joke. What a fucking joke. This is why Putin wanted him as president. He's a joke. He knows that Trump will just do anything to get picture looking, shaking Putin's hand and looking, just like all the other ones did way back. This is what he wants. He wants pictures with Putin in the history books. Oh, we had a like on there just to take it off just now. We had 4, but it came off. I know, confetti the very second it comes off too. Wow. Holy shit. Yeah, normal behavior from supporters. I'll tell you what. Normal fucking behavior. This guy's a fucking douche. So anyway, that last thing it said, 100%, yeah, I know, he's a fucking douche, I know. That last thing he said, intimidation and incentives, not explicit written commands. This is important to remember. This is what we're talking about here. Because it can't be blatant. It can't be obvious, or people will do things about it. Before, you know what I mean? Like, they'll spoil the plan. The coup d'etat, so to speak. That ain't gonna go the way he thinks. So I said, can you expand on the authoritarian pressure through intimidation and incentives? Because remember, it even said authoritarian pressure on speech often works through intimidation and incentives, not explicit written commands. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about fascism, authoritarian pressure, trying to introduce authoritarianism instead of democracy. and just slowly trying to make it happen. That's what we're talking about here. Because these are things he's doing that aren't legal. This is what we're talking about. Like, normally speaking, Stephen Colbert, all these companies and stuff, they would stand by him too and be able to sue. But even they can't, like he's merging companies. Like, this is like, we're talking like Ponzi schemes and shit like that. So, can you expand on authoritarian pressure through intimidation and incentives?
I'm grounding this in both democratic backsliding research and current media examples, so I can explain the mechanism clearly instead of just labeling it. Yes, the core idea is that authoritarian pressure usually does not start with a formal order saying ban this critic. It works by making the cost of criticism feel dangerous enough that institutions start censoring themselves. Freedom House describes this pattern in other countries as politicians branding critical outlets as enemies or liars, encouraging harassment and creating a chilling effect, even without outright closure of the press. There are two main tools in that playbook: intimidation and incentives. Intimidation is the threat side: public attacks, investigations, license threats, lawsuits, retaliation talk, and selective enforcement. Incentives are the reward side: merger approvals, regulatory relief, access, favorable treatment, or simply avoiding punishment if executives stay quiet or sideline critics. In practice, those two blur together. Do what we want and your problems go away. Resist and your problems multiply. That dynamic is exactly why scholars and press freedom groups focus on chilling effects rather than only on explicit censorship orders. Applied here, the intimidation side looks like this. Reuters reported that FCC Chair Brendan Carr said early license reviews are possible, that revocation is on the table, and that the FCC is actively investigating major broadcasters including NBC, ABC, CBS, PBS, and NPR. Reuters also reported Trump has repeatedly pressured the FCC to revoke licenses of broadcasters he dislikes and praised Carr's actions. That kind of signal matters even if the government ultimately loses in court, because most companies do not want to spend years fighting federal pressure. The incentive side shows up when companies have something big pending before the government. Reuters reported Paramount's merger approval came after Paramount paid $16 million to settle Trump's lawsuit over 60 Minutes, and the deal drew accusations that the company had effectively paid for smoother approval. Even if you do not claim a literal quid pro quo was proven, the structure itself is dangerous. A company needing federal approval has a reason to avoid antagonizing the president or his regulators. That is why this can affect speech without a direct order. Once executives understand that critical coverage might bring investigations, licensing threats, public humiliation, or merger headaches, they do not need to be told exactly what to do. They start making business decisions that just happen to align with political pressure, soften coverage, discipline outspoken talent, avoid certain topics, cancel riskier programming, or overcorrect toward neutrality that favors the powerful. That is the chilling effect. The Kimmel episode is a very clear illustration of the mechanism. Reuters reported Trump publicly celebrated Kimmel's suspension and said broadcasters should lose their licenses over negative coverage of his administration. Reuters also reported Carr threatened an investigation and urged stations to drop Kimmel's show or face possible fines and license revocation, after which Disney suspended the show. That is close to a textbook example of pressure causing a broadcaster to weigh speech against regulatory pain. So the blunt version is, authoritarian pressure works by privatizing censorship. The state does not always have to ban speech directly. It can make media owners, universities, law firms, platforms, and broadcasters do the suppressing themselves because they fear retaliation or want favorable treatment. When that happens, leaders can deny censorship while still reshaping the information environment in their favor. My honest opinion, based on the facts we have, is that this is the most plausible way to understand what Trump world is doing to media right now. Not necessarily a neat written conspiracy, but a system of pressure where everyone understands the message. Criticize him hard enough, and the government can make life expensive. That is how democratic erosion often looks in real time. I can also turn
that. Right there. Criticize him hard enough and the government can make life expensive. Right fucking there. It's all he's doing. Oh, you criticize me? Guess what? Your electric bill goes up. I'm dead serious. I mean, this is absurd. And we are talking about unprecedented, too. I've already told you guys about how, you know, again, unprecedented. Going up from literally, like, we're talking like a normal amount, like $300, to then $700 the very next month. And then the very next month after that, $1,200, like $1,200. In consecutive months, just that much. That's unprecedented. When inflation would affect things, even with Iraq and all that, way back, housing market crash, all this stuff, the whole point is, when that stuff happens, it's over time. It's not 1 month to the next. Your fucking electric bill goes from $300 to $700 to $1,100. That doesn't make any fucking sense. This is not inflation. That's like, again, a douchebag putting pressure on people systematically. That's all that is. What a faggot! What a fucking faggot! So yeah, he's a bitch! What a little bitch! Actually sitting here, not doing the job, doubling down on attacking people. He's literally Satan. He is the definition, the Bible's definition of what Satan looks like. There is no forgiveness. There is no, I did something wrong, let me fix it and try to be better. No, it's not what he does. He just sits here and tries to be like, here, I'm going to do this to cover up a little bit more. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Confetti, confetti, I know. Except here's the proof. Right here. Except it's right in front of me. We literally just went through. And the even the AI says exactly, criticize them hard enough and the government can make life expensive. Even the AI is saying that. We're not talking about something that we didn't get an answer from. We're talking about how at the start of this, it was very blatant that it was trying to be like, oh, well, we're not going to talk about Donald Trump and blame him for shit. And then sure enough, just again, through understanding the tool and how to properly use it, we get to the fact thereof. Yes, Donald Trump is blatantly fucking affecting your rights. It's as simple as that. tried to take Kimmel off the air and put pressure on people and stuff like that, all while citing that it's bullying and I mean, Jesus Christ. What a bitch. If that was really the case, what a bitch. I mean, it's not the case. This is the point. If it, like that, like, really? It's all part of it, man. This is a guy that is quoted way back saying that if the president goes to war with Iran, it's for personal gain. He's fucking quoted saying that. That wasn't AI, that was literally like a video of him way back talking about this shit. Come on, man. Come on, man. What the fuck? Okay, so specifically this stuff about Colbert. You guys remember how I told you this looked like the same thing for me, where I was talking about this stuff and he started meddling. I was growing and I was supposed to gain a lot of subscribers and viewers. People know this because channels liked me and they tried to give me subscribers, they tried to raid, they tried to help, and systematically their subscriptions are removed. I'm not unaware of this. I can do math. So basically he has gotten into Google, which again, Alphabet Inc., they just own all of it. Okay, so that's Google, that's YouTube. Okay? That's all this integrated shit. And I got news for you. All your default apps and stuff on your devices are all through Google. Your picture app, your contacts, your email, everything on your fucking mobile device defaults to a Google version of the app. I'm just letting y'all know. It's very, very easy for them to see your shit. And that's how they're doing it. I mean, it's that basic. Where a different administration would have accountability and not use it for that. Oh, you know, but they fire however many inspectors general on one fucking day. And shit like this. Come on. Add it up. Add it the fuck up. Okay? So we all know about what used to happen to me, how stuff started breaking on my channel. I wasn't even able to have, you know, like all these things were just breaking, okay? I started with the thumbnails. Misrepresenting my thumbnails so that I would have some sort of, like, back and forth, like, communication between, you know, like it was just blatantly to cause a rift between me and my community and whoever I would communicate about those thumbnails and stuff like that. So, I mean, this wasn't the only thing, but this is the one thing I'm gonna say where, you know, other people have seen this and evidence of this, and realize that the more stuff that I say, you know, like it's like, oh yeah, that's right, that's a thing that we did. We can do that. Let's do that again. So just realize they've done so many effing things that it actually sort of is like that. So just realize that. But specifically the thumbnail thing. Yeah, I know, Confetti, you're all upset because we're gonna, you know, you know what's about to happen. So let me show you how we all know Colbert is under attack. And they're trying to make it look like he's not getting views and stuff like that too. I've seen evidence of that. Okay. So here is your evidence, Colbert. Now, I'm just gonna show you guys this because this is what I saw. So if this is happening to you, you need to document it, screenshot, whatever you gotta do before it fixes it, before YouTube realizes it, because YouTube kept me on the down low so that they wouldn't have to fix these things. That was the whole point. They were trying to make sure that I didn't gain enough following so that they have to go in and fix these things, because if I start gaining following and there's regular traction, people are going to be like, this is broken, this is broken, this is broken. Yep. So here we go. I took a screenshot of right minutes after Colbert had uploaded one of his videos, and conveniently, the thumbnail was not functioning. And as you can see, there are two other thumbnails of things working right next to it. However, the one for Colbert is not displayed. How interesting. And this is exactly what I had talked about for me, too, where I saw this happening and I knew that it was happening for other people, but just some. So that it would hide it a bit more, but not others. So that it hides it a bit more. And this detrends it. So basically it does it for the people that have their alerts and stuff like that on. A lot of times, you know, they put their alerts on and they want to know when you upload something or when you go live. It's usually for that, so that way it messes with it. So that's why you're not getting your alerts, but it also tells the system to mess up the thumbnails for those people, yada yada yada. I remember the guy in that middle thumbnail, the Ricky. Again, I cannot express how this guy's amazing. And that middle thumbnail, he there was a couple times where he was live and his little live icon didn't show up. I went right to his page and he's live, but you know, like on the left, where normally if you're looking at this thumbnail, you'd have all this list of subscribers on the left. That little live thing that shows up on the left that says, "Hey, that subscriber's live," it doesn't work for him, for me, at all. So I don't know he's live. And then like the whole point was I just sort of knew already and went to his channel. He's got 2 fucking streams running. Yeah, he's live. So again, it's that thing where their YouTube has been, and I told you this, where their message, and they have always been trying to do this for the past many years anyway, where they're trying to get people away from long form content and on the shorter form content, where I've already told you, if you remember a while back, I was saying how they were causing problems for my longer streams. It started getting to a point where we're recognizing certain patterns where at a certain point in the stream they would just start shifting the bit rate around or something like that. And yeah, I know, fucking confetti, but like that's the fucking point. Is we just started recognizing the ridiculousness of the fact that it was blatantly obvious what YouTube was doing, and they do this to everybody. They are just nasty to their content creators. They are nasty. They will literally just, if you're live, they will just subliminally, randomly shift your bitrate around, or they like, again, or they'll post some completely incoherent message in your live control room that means absolutely nothing and does not help. You know, while you're live, like they'll type some sort of message that literally has nothing to do with why the thing is happening that's happening. Nothing to do with it. It'll literally just be a blatantly obvious thing that you're already doing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, my bit rate's shifting around all over the fucking place, and their system's like, hey, use a bit rate like this. No fucking shit, it is that. Like, just because your system is trash and somebody's hacking me through your system doesn't mean my bit rate's not that. Just means you're fucking moving it around all over the damn fucking place. So, you see what I'm saying? Like, but anyway, this is a thumbnail that I took a screenshot of that didn't work, and then I took immediately. Hold on, this one. Hold on. I went to his page and then took this thumbnail. And it was that stream, the one that says Green Day, where you can clearly see a thumbnail working. But for my suggestions, they were trying to get it to not show up. Does that make sense? Or was breaking it. So that way, if I'm on the page, just scroll past it and ignore it. It doesn't grab my attention like the rest do. You get what I'm saying? Like a thumbnail is a thumbnail. We all know what that's for. Okay? So, if I see Stephen Colbert on the thumbnail, I'm obviously, you know what I mean? And it's just 3 fucking gray dots instead. Yeah, I'm extremely likely, you know, again, if everybody scrolls. So, you get what I'm saying? So, like, if that's what that purpose is for, and you need that thumbnail there, and it ain't there, it's blatantly obvious why. And so that's what I was showing you, is it was that particular stream that they were doing it with, was that one. Again, this is what it looked like from my end. So, like, this, my point was, like, I saw this, I have seen this with mine in the past, where what I did was, we're not just talking about in a YouTube timeline. I've seen this where I'll actually share it, like, maybe even an hour later, somewhere else, to, like, a social media or something like that. And I swear to God, the thumbnail will look literally like you see there. An hour, 2 hours later, a day later, it doesn't matter. It'll just be broken. It's not, like, even if you correct it, again, it's a data corruption for the thumbnail where they just break it permanently so that way if you share it, anybody sees it, any sharing version of that thumbnail doesn't load, but if you go to your page, it looks right. It'll always look right on your page. I mean, like, this was how it was for me. This was exactly what it was. Where, like, literally it was dumb shit like this to cause you to, you know, like get mad at YouTube or get, you know what I mean? So, like, you know, like, let's say they know you're going to a platform or something like that, and they want to disrupt your relationship with that platform in a way or something like that. What they're going to do is they're going to start doing shit like this so that you aim the finger at YouTube, yada, yada, yada. YouTube aims the finger back because they already don't like you being democratic and such. And it goes back and forth because YouTube sits here and they're a company that does this, where they just momentarily go, yeah, we're going to be this way or this way, depending on who the president is, instead of being fucking neutral about it. Because that would be the professional take, to be neutral, but they're gonna be like that, and that's you shouldn't do that. We are a democracy. Anything that would be against our system of governing and stuff, that's where your neutrality goes out the window, and you take a firm stance on rights, because they're the company's rights too. Again. Can't express enough. If democracy goes away and we have authoritarianship, he will own everything. All these companies and stuff like it's not yours anymore. It's not the public's. It's not Wall Street. It's just Trump. So anyway, it's important to remember that. Yeah, Berwick's a funny guy. I honestly think, again, he's like, he's probably my favorite streamer now, just because, again, he's just so funny. And, you know, like, it's exactly that stuff. It's, what I was basically trying to do, and then YouTube ruined it while using all these other people as scapegoats. You know what I mean? Like, where you guys know I didn't care. I would just let people type shit in chat and type whatever they wanted, and I wouldn't even really care. You know what I mean? And then, like, the whole point was then people started abusing it and typing, like death threats and stuff like that, and so I started to being a certain way because it was because of certain content creators and bringing their entire channel in here, and it was them. It was literally them. It wasn't me. And so, like, just the whole point was that I had to start being a certain way with them. And then so when I cut them off and it was going to be obvious that they were the problem, they just endlessly came back and you know, trolled the channel and stalked me and tried to make it seem like, you know, obviously it's not them, you know, so that their reputation's not burnt. But it's obviously the truth of the fact, you know what I mean? Like, I clearly don't give a shit what people type as long as you're not being malicious, you're causing a problem or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, obviously you're sitting here trying to talk about people's personal lives and stuff like that, and like being personal and stuff like that. You're just gonna get fucking blocked. Like, if you're that dumb that you don't understand that, like, you're just gonna get blocked. You know what I mean? So that's you know, like obviously we can sit here and say whatever, and I don't give a shit, you know, because that's the whole point. So they're picking that one thing that they know they can pick, because obviously I don't care if they type swear words, they could type some fucked up shit. I do not care, but that's the whole point. They're picking the one thing. Oh, personal info. Oh, doxing people. Oh, this. Oh, that. You know, of course I'm going to start, you know, because again, that involves people's personal information. You should do something about that. So, you know, they're just picking that one thing that they know works. That's it. So, I mean, like, claiming that's anything but just adults being criminals and acting fucking stupid is wrong. It's just flat out wrong. Anything like, again, that's because that's all it is. I mean, it's literally just a bunch of adults acting fucking stupid and attacking people. You know, because again, they have the internet, they're there, and they can just attack people, you know, because they want to. I mean, literally, it's just adults proving they're criminals. And then they just sit here on the internet attacking people. And then police don't, you know, like, they could recognize this as behavioral issues and people, you know, and investigate and stuff like that, but they're not doing it. Like, this is what you have to recognize. Like, Trump's FBI is so fucking stupid. They could sit here and like actually recognize behavioral issues with people stalking online and stuff like that. But they don't, like, they're this dumb that you know, instead Kash Patel is being filmed chugging beers, you know, in a locker room with the USA hockey team and stuff like that. And, you know, it's not just real quick. It's not like, you know, just for the obvious photograph. No, like, he's like very obviously, like, pounding on stuff and being rowdy and like, I mean, like, it's blatant that he's partying with them. Like, this is absurd. It's absurd. It's completely unprofessional. I mean, literally, probably the most unprofessional thing I've ever seen. It probably is. It's probably the most unprofessional thing I've ever seen. It's on par with, I saw this body cam of this cop that was dealing with this department where the sheriff's department was acting like a bunch of children. Basically, it was political. Basically, like, they had all these people they were bringing in, you know, with warrants and stuff like that. and they were only taking people, I think, from their department. Was the idea was that their department takes priority, is what they were saying. And there was all these cops just lined up with these people in their cars, and they can't go anywhere. And they obviously, like, because if they have the person in their car, they're in their custody, they're responsible, they can't, you know what I mean? Like, they have to, and they're just stuck there. And just hours and hours, and it's incredibly irresponsible. Like, these first responders are just stuck there for hours and hours. Meanwhile, this incredibly irresponsible piece of douchebag shithead from the sheriff's department is again making the call that, you know, their guys take priority and it's not first come first serve like it fucking should be at any, you know, just like at the ER or something like that. Like, duh. No, but no, just douchebag faggot being all, we don't like this department, we have problems with them, so we're going to cause problems for them. I mean, like, literally, that's blatantly obvious. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to backlog their paperwork process and shit for them. Because that's obviously all it's going to do. Why else would they fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't do anything except that. Yeah, like, their guys take priority. It doesn't mean anything. What? Why? To be an asshole? Yeah, like, I mean, like, that's all it's, you know what I mean? Like, why would you do that? And the cop was there, like, literally just, like, waiting forever, and like, they're just like, this is the most unprofessional thing I have ever seen. Like, he just kept saying it. He's saying he's gonna, you know, like, obviously submit a, you know, a claim, or, you know, he's gonna report him and stuff like that, and he's like, go ahead, you know, and stuff. Like, it was just so bad. And they, like, it was like, security wise, it was bad too. Like, if any one of those people that they had were acting up, they would have had a real security situation, and it would have made the whole sheriff's department look bad. They probably would have gotten sued, cause again, they're just making this call, but we're talking about, like, we're talking about policing, first responding. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So, you know, I mean, like, this is what you got to realize about the reality of the situation is that when any adult starts to justify that behavior that leans towards, I want this versus need, there's no room for that in governing and you know, like, law enforcement in general. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just no room for that. Because, I mean, that's exactly what guys like Trump take advantage of. There's just no room for it. So you gotta understand that, you know, like, again, like, it's like that. It's just the most immature fucking, like, thing I've ever heard, and it's just incredible. It's just like that, and I would agree that is a very this is the most unprofessional fucking thing I've ever heard. So this is right up that alley, where, I mean, most unprofessional fucking thing. And Google, YouTube, Walmart, McDonald's, all these companies have exhibited this behavior, where I've talked about this, where they're just like this. It's a behavioral issue, systemic in their organization. They just literally have all their managers act like this. It's their behavior. Their managers at the store level. That's it. Where they don't manage anything. They just expect them to do something and put pressure on them. Just like Donald Jackass Trump does. He doesn't do anything or have any ideas. And the incompetent morons that he hires are incompetent fucking morons. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. He fires everybody that does. And then he doesn't have any ideas. So they just suck. Does it sound like every other company I've just described? Like, I mean, again, I'm sitting, like, how many times can I sit here and go through managers where I personally come in contact with managers that I've worked with that are blatantly incompetent, don't do their work, should have been fired for harassing me and other employees, and were the store manager blatantly just higher than me in the company. And the entire way through the company, I was a good employee, you know, again, tried my fucking hardest, and worked very, very hard every fucking day, just like so many other people did. And the other employees that were like that too got taken advantage of, spoken down to, eventually just fucking quit. And the cycle repeats itself, and the bad people stay and take advantage of what the good people come in and do, and then they get recycled all over again. And then the fucking people that learn from this take it and go elsewhere. They're done with McDonald's and Walmart. They're done. They take it and go elsewhere. Just like they're done, you know, like I hear about Amazon randomly just shutting down these DSPs. They zero warning. An Amazon DSP, a distribution facility, will just like open up, and people have jobs and stuff like this, and then they'll just shut them down. No warning. I mean, like, these people could sue. And again, there's just the bottom line, just shut them the fuck down. And they're doing this across the board, just zero warning, just shutting shit down. Oh, gee, I wonder why some things don't get delivered and get lost and stuff like that. Oh, gee, I wonder if it's because you randomly shut down a DSP and a package was going to be delivered there, but oh, it got shut down. So the person got there and didn't have a place to deliver it. No, it's just on a truck in limbo somewhere. That ain't going anywhere. That ain't going anywhere. And all the packages that day ain't going anywhere. Because again, they weren't responsible enough to logistically handle this. They just shut them down. It's the bottom line. We don't care about why we're doing it, or taking a look at that under a microscope to make sure that we're not ending people's careers for no reason. Nah, don't care. That's not our job or anything as CEO. Nah. Just bottom line, not dealing with it. It's called laziness. It's called not doing your job. And for as long as I can remember, I've seen this. The richer people get, you know, just like a lawyer has a secretary. The lawyer doesn't do the shit themselves. They just meet with people, decide what's going to happen, and hand everything to the secretary. The secretary just does this. Does it all. They do the work. Lawyer doesn't do that. I swear to God. Lawyer does 10% of the fucking work. Unless it's a good lawyer. Well, then you got a good lawyer. Then he's doing the work. He's answering the calls. But again, like you again, one of these fucking guys where he just never picks up the phone. He never answers. Somebody else always answers. Takes fucking forever to get back to you. I mean, literally, this person's not working your case. They're just sitting on it, hoping to make money off of it. That's it. They are working the cases that they know will 100% win and get them money. And you don't understand what's wrong with our legal system? And then we're supposed to validly have public defenders and lawyers that would actually... No. Oh, absolutely not. Every single time somebody has a public defender or a lawyer that publicly defends somebody, all the public defender does is sits here and takes the case and tries to get the person to admit fault. That's what they do. They interrogate the person and try to get them to admit fault. That is literally what they do every fucking time. And then so now that they've admitted fault to the lawyer's going to manipulate them and convince them, look, it's all okay, it's all fine. You're good, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're good. 2 days before the trial, it's not so good. It's, look, just prepare for the worst. Because it's just a manipulation and a complete lie of the system. Where they're not giving you valid representation. That public defender, just all they did was manipulate you to try to confess to something maybe you didn't even do. They're just trying to do this to lower charges. We're trying to, they'll manipulate they'll just try to get a confession, essentially. So that way they have a, good relationship with the system and can continue being a public defender, yada, yada, yada. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with actually helping anybody and actually legally defending somebody validly. Period. Which is why a lot of people are starting to defend themselves, represent themselves. Because a public defender does that. That's exactly what they do. Every time. It's just built in. Probably won't even deny it. It's built in. That's how the system works. Yep. Every time. Now think about how many times they do this and it's fraud, and then years later, they get something overturned. And they find out it's this or mistrial, this or that, and this. Meanwhile, yeah, they did illegal shit. They lied here and there. Think about how often this probably happens. Especially, again, knowing what I just said, where you have a system based on what that is, instead of defending the person validly, where the person has valid representation, they should be willing to fight tooth and nail to defend that person and believe they're innocent until proven guilty. And the time and time again, the public defender tries to coerce the person into a confession beforehand. Time and time again. That's all they do. And oftentimes it'll be in the first meeting, because the whole point is that they want to catch you off guard. They want you to not have any type of prior meeting, and like they just want to sort of, you know what I mean? Like, and then the next time you meet with them, they'll be all different and positive and make you think it's gonna all work out, and because that's how the system works. And then they'll spy on you, they'll put taps and stuff like that and make you aware of it, but the whole manipulation is to be in the sense that you'll be loose and stuff like that about it. And so you'll talk about it and stuff like that. The whole point is to try to use the public defender to build a case against you, instead of allowing the public defender to use facts to prove your innocence. Because again, nothing's been proven. Innocent until proved guilty, right? Yeah. Yep. So, with this being said, this is a segue into what we have to cover next. And this is, again, like, we had a lot of stuff to cover this time, okay? We do. We have a lot of stuff to cover. This was not just this today, okay? However, I am going to get up here for a minute because this chair is killing my rear end. and I do not like it. It is probably one of the most uncomfortable chairs I have ever sat in my entire life, and it's killing my rear end. So I need to get up. I swear to God, like, why would you, again, like, the cushion, when I sit on it, literally, like, if I sit on it for too long, I start to feel the bolts that are actually under the cushion that bolt the cushion. Like, what the fuck? Like, what a stupid fucking design. Are you kidding me? So I just, just trash design, and unfortunately, it limits the amount of time that my legs can be sitting in this chair. I'm a very tall person. There we go. So I apologize, I need to get up for a minute, and I will get up for a minute, but we are going to segue into what I'm about to talk about from what I just said, where we have a system that incriminates people, often gets it wrong, and we're only heading further into that direction, the more and more that we do these dumb things that we're doing. So that's going to be my segue, but I do need to get up for a minute. I apologize. But yeah, I mean, it's awful. It's awful. I hope to do something about it here soon, where I just, maybe get a cushion or something. But I have to find the right size one. It's very odd. So anytime I sat on, I tried a pillow the one time, like the pillow I would normally use, and it just was sticking. It just didn't work. It wasn't working. Sort of hard to explain, but I need to just find the right size cushion. So anyway, again, leading into the segue of dealing with people properly, to making sure that police aren't getting it wrong, public defenders aren't getting it wrong. Like, the whole point is you shouldn't try to incriminate the person. You should try to find them innocent if you can. Okay? So, and again, that's if you're defending them. Obviously, the whole point is you have another side that's going to be prosecuting, that's going to be doing the opposite. So, again, my point is that you need to do all these things right, and the people that are enforcing laws need to focus on facts and checks and balances. Okay? And that ain't what's happening. Just like with lawyers, unless you pay out the ass, the lawyers in this country do not try to find you innocent. They flat out will do the opposite. Okay. Unless you're paying out the ass. That's the problem with our system. That's my segue into what we're going to talk about next. But as you can see, we already have a fucking troll that when we had 8 likes, but just removed one based on what I just said. So, how many times is something blatantly obviously true and the person's removing a like right when I, like, we know it's true. Like, that's the whole point. Like, they're showing how guilty they look when they do that. They know it's fucking true. It's that behavior where it's the denial of being wrong about something. So that's the segue. I'll be right back. Thank you for watching. I'll be right back. I won't be long. Hello, I am back. Thanks for waiting. I know that sometimes that we go, I'll be talking a little bit, and I'll sort of go off on a tangent, but I try to bring it back, okay? And I understand that I do go on tangents sometimes, but I feel like I do this better than some, okay? Because that's what we're doing here. That's what you want. You want my input. You don't want me to just sit here and give you a bunch of information and stuff. You want my input. You want me to give you a little bit of, that. And I know, confetti, I know. And you want to throw shade on things when you're doing that, just like you've done it a million times before. So obviously, we see the confetti the second that I state this, and I state why I go on tangents, because that's what you want. It's blatantly obvious. Yeah. Because this is often when we see the troll with likes on here just to fucking remove them. Because that's not normal. Normal fucking people don't do that fucking shit. They either watch or they don't. Yeah. Normal fucking people don't sit here and like a stream just to have their likes taken off at any given time. Especially when the person is reacting to them and pointing out that they're doing it at very specific times based on what I'd say. Sort of like the confetti. Okay. So just throwing that out there. Now, the segue. This segue. I know, confetti. I know, confetti, I know. Alright. So, let's talk about how cops are arresting people just because AI gets it wrong. The whole thing where they're just using a technology that just came out to do facial recognition, and it just gets it wrong.
There's a real issue here. People have been wrongly arrested after facial recognition matches that turned out to be wrong. And the risk gets worse when officers treat a software match like proof instead of a lead. I'm pulling a few current reliable examples and guidance so I can ground this in specifics rather than hand-waving. Yeah, the core problem is not just AI gets it wrong. It's that some police departments have used facial recognition as if it were evidence strong enough to drive an arrest, even though the systems are probabilistic, sensitive to image quality, and known to produce false positives. NIST's guidance says these systems must be tuned by balancing true positives against false positives, and demographic performance differences remain a real concern. There are concrete wrongful arrest cases behind the outrage. The ACLU says Robert Williams was the first publicly reported person wrongfully arrested because of a false face recognition match. And it also describes Portia Woodruff's 2023 wrongful arrest in Detroit as stemming from a faulty facial recognition match, followed by witness identification. The bigger failure is usually human, not just technical. A Washington Post investigation reported that multiple departments treated AI output as primary evidence, ignored alibis and other exculpatory facts, and in some cases steered witnesses toward confirming the machine's suggestion. That is classic automation bias, people over-trusting a tool because it looks scientific. The DOJ's 2024 report also says agencies differ a lot in when they allow facial recognition and what level of predication they require before using it, which means safeguards are inconsistent. In other words, the problem is not just bad software, it is uneven rules, weak oversight, and bad investigative practice. So the strongest version of your point is, police should never be arresting someone just because a facial recognition system suggested a match. At most, it should be an investigative lead that has to be checked against independent evidence. When that discipline breaks down, innocent people can get arrested. A fair way to say it without the slur is, it's reckless when police rely on error-prone facial recognition as if it were proof.
Yep. Yep. And in addition to that, you do realize that basically every ICE agent that's doing what they're doing is using that exact technology. That is what they're doing. Like a lot of that stuff where they were just grabbing people, they were holding their phones up. Remember that? Remember how many times you saw that? That's what they're doing. And it's just giving a false positive. And they didn't even have the right to use that in the first place. They don't. It's not proof of anything. So what? This technology said it? Oh. Cool. Do you go and arrest people because they shot somebody in a game? I'm just curious. Do you go and arrest people because they shoot somebody in a game? Because that's what that sounds like. You using a technology that is not even even close to 100%, sounds to me like you think that, again, you should go and arrest somebody that shoots somebody in a video game. That's what that sounds like to me. Because, again, that's what you're doing. You're literally relying on software to confirm somebody's identity that can be meddled with, is not perfected, and we're relying on you to not tamper with it too. It's on a device you have. How do I know you didn't tamper with it? None of that's addressed. Visual confirmation of, again, the person's ID and confirming it with databases and stuff like that, that's different. But the AI just, oh, yep. Just not how it works. And is completely unlawful to proceed with your probable cause. Because it's not probable cause, it's unlawful. You confirmed via software? What? So you didn't see the ID yourself? You can't confirm the person's identity, but you're holding up a phone that's supposed to... The software does it. Oh. So you're not doing your job. And you're just using software to just be like, yeah, we'll just let it, it's just a flip of a coin. We'll just flip a coin. Hey, you guys want to flip a coin? Let's flip a coin. See if we arrest this guy or not. Let's fucking flip a coin. So you're doing. Man, it's literally all you're doing when you do that. No confirmation whatsoever of arrest warrant. An identification. You just... Oh, well, the facial rec says it's this fucking guy. I wonder how many times they had somebody's ID and confirmed that it was not that person, but the facial rec got it wrong. And they're confirming it is this person. Oh, well, the facial rec is saying something opposite. I wonder how many times the ICE agents tried to use that to their fucking advantage to profile people and wrongfully deport them. I wonder. Because I've already confirmed it's not working. And even normal police are using it and wrongfully arresting people. This was, again, it mentioned an incident back in 2023 in Detroit. Okay? I mean, this is going on all the time. I can pull up body cam of a lawyer talking about a case recently where that's exactly what happened. This dumbass cop just used the facial rec and went, oh yeah, that's good enough. It says it. And the guy obviously wasn't who it was claiming, and it was just like, I mean, it was kind of obvious. It was pretty blatantly obvious, actually. But you know, they just want to arrest people, I guess. So, they're doing it, and like literally, this admits it. You know, it's fair to say without a slur, it's reckless when police rely on error-prone facial recognition as if it were proof. Yeah. Yep. It is reckless. Because it's not proof. It literally, it's as if it were proof. It's not. You're just using software. It's wrong. However many fucking times it's been wrong. It's not accurate. It has an error rate. You can't rely on that ever. Do courts, does the court system recognize lie detector tests as proof? Do they? Does the fucking court system use lie detector tests of proof of anything whatsoever? Is that admissible evidence in court? A lie detector fucking test. Is it? No. Fuck no. No. It's not proof of anything. It's proof you can pass a lie detector test. They have an error rate. Period. It's not 100%. Therefore, you cannot use it to confirm any fact thereof. Same with a system that's just software going, yep, this is that person. Honest to God, I'm an AI that's totally not going to lie and has no bias. You know, we've confirmed that there are problems and they are sentient now. But, you know, totally gonna just sit here and not, you know, fuck up and be temperamental. And also, you know, again, they are buggy, so they get it wrong, and it's as simple as that. And it has an error rate, but you're confirming this as solid evidence for... No, it's not. You may as well just randomly, maybe you just pick somebody on the street. Hey, dude, you look sort of like this one guy that's wanted. So, you know, let's pull you in. What the fuck? Man, it's literally what that's like. It's literally what that's like. There's no difference. It's not confirmation of anything if there's an error rate. Which is, again, why we don't... that again, the lie detector test, all that stuff. There's an error rate. It's not submissible evidence. It's not proof of anything. You want to know how to pass a lie detector test? Remain calm. I mean, you literally just research this stuff. People do it. So, like, polygraph. That's the fucking word I was looking for. So anyway, that's how it should. That's how you need to look at that. It's how you have to realize, and it's why you guys, you know, like anybody that's a cop. That's why they like again, polygraph. Like typically that stuff's just for like intelligence and stuff like that. Like a lot of times intelligence, they'll use it for various things as tools. But even then, it's not technically still submissive evidence, and it's often why they can't. You know what I mean? Like it goes to like core level things. That's often why, like, a lot of times they can't use that particular thing. They have to use something else, or, you know, that's why. It's not, they can't. It has an error rating. People are trained to know how to pass them and stuff like that. I mean, see, if you're CIA in the field, you can pass a polygraph. More than likely. If you think a KGB guy can't, KGB can do that too. We know that. Well, they're trying to pass polygraphs and all that stuff. Anyway, because that's the whole point. Like a lot of that stuff that's based on like heart rate and stuff like that. So like it's literally just people, you know, knowing how to answer stuff while remaining calm, and you get what I'm saying? Like it's just practice. So then I followed up with, technically facial recognition isn't actual proof. It's a computer, not fact. It can get it wrong and should require secondary verification until it's perfected.
Exactly. Facial recognition should be treated as a lead, not as proof. A match from a computer system is really just, this person looks similar enough to flag for review. That is not the same as establishing identity as a fact. Your standard makes sense. It should require independent verification before police act on it in a serious way, especially before an arrest. That could mean confirming with better quality footage, corroborating location data, witness testimony that was not influenced by the match, physical evidence, or a solid alibi check. And, until it's perfected, may even be too generous, because no identification system is likely to be literally perfect. So the safer principle is, even if facial recognition improves a lot, it still should not be enough by itself to justify arrest. Why? Because similarity is not identity. Bad photos, angles, lighting, and compression can distort results. Investigators can get tunnel vision once the system names a suspect. Once police lock onto the wrong person, every later step can get biased and covered. So yes, technically and morally, a face match is not proof. It's a clue that needs verification. The real failure is when institutions pretend probability is certainty. A clean way to put your view is, facial recognition should never be treated as standalone evidence for arrest. It should only generate leads that must be independently verified. Or more sharply, an algorithmic match is not probable cause by itself.
So, even the AI agrees with me that it should never. Again, it actually says that I was too generous there. Basically saying that it should basically never be used as an independent verification. Ever. You know, I get, like, never. It said that, not me. It was like, no, wait. You're being too nice. Don't ever. And the AI itself is saying this. Even I didn't say, like, it's saying that. The logical computer is saying, no. Don't ever rely on us for this. We're not part of that realm. We're establishing this based on the mediums we're given. And it's not 100%. You are the verification. We're trying to give you a tool here. So just like when I started this, you know, it was very much defending Trump and trying to, like, you get what I'm saying, and we sure enough got to the truth of the fact eventually, while understanding how to use the tool. It's the same thing. If you understand how to use it, it's a great tool. But don't sit here and just be a lazy fucking cop and be like, okay, well, the computer said it. Durr. America. America. America! Fuck yeah! It feels like that now. Yeah, like this is the most BS, non-transparent, incompetent fucking government that we've seen in our office probably ever. Probably ever. All those things. Isn't it great that Trump could come into office and coast off of the things that Obama and Biden just expertly knew how to do because they were so fucking good at their jobs? Trump could just sit here and coast happily off the shit that they did while trying to undo it all. The Iran nuclear deal existed. That was a thing. Remember that? Oh, gee, I wonder if he got rid of it so he could go to war with Iran. Oh, gee. Because remember, we had a deal that said they couldn't make weapons. I mean, what a joke we are. What a joke we are. What a joke. You know, there's a lot of things that you can say and look at that Trump did where you can say it was something that he tried to do just because it was something that wasn't a good idea. It wasn't by any means. But the Republican voters of the time would have looked at it as a good thing because they're a bunch of fucking idiots and don't know what they're voting for. So, you know, like, again, they're just pick party and just pick a Republican. So the point is that he often tries to do these things that I think other Republicans did, like exactly what they did. That again, that base that just votes implicitly Republican. He then tries to do those things, but sometimes again, those things are the things that were very unpopular, that people don't like. You know, so like going to randomly going to war with countries that we shouldn't go to war with. You know, again, Bush W did that. When Bin Laden when Al Qaeda attacked, our president responded with, "We will never forget," yada yada yada. You know, again, we're talking about Bin Laden. Nothing to do with Iraq or Afghanistan. We're talking about Bin Laden. And Bush didn't do anything about Bin Laden. But he sure as hell distracted the American people and launched 2 absurdly expensive wars. Randomly to just obliterate Iraq and to just endlessly sit here with troops to invade Afghanistan for X amount of time for no reason. So again, and he himself has been quoted saying no new wars, and he's not going to do that, and he's not, like, and saying that a president, specifically picking Iran way back, that a president wants to go to a war with Iran is for, like, again, it's for personal gain or something like that. Like, he said these things. Like, I don't understand, like, how people can't put this together and like, the point is that this guy is losing his mind. He's getting old, and he's accidentally revealing, these plots. Just like the anxiety of being worried about the fact that Biden is going to do all these things like, like militarize police and stuff like that, and there's going to be police everywhere. Like just doing all these things, and then that's not at all what happened. And like people have to, like, he worried people with that. And then sure enough, after Biden and then Trump comes into office, that's basically what Trump does. And again, not even legally, not even like with police where he's getting infrastructure and funding. I'm talking like illegally using federal agents to do things that he's not supposed to do, that they're not supposed to do. So I mean, I think it's pretty obvious if you ask me, but I know everybody has their world that, like, everything's in a certain scope or perspective based on how you receive your information. I think it's really important to remember that anybody that's not trying to get on board with annihilating like Kremlin and Putin and any government that exists in Russia at this point, anybody that's not getting on board with that is just complete fucking retard. You're fucking retarded. You're not pro-life. You don't understand what's going to happen, what is happening, the threat of everything. You know, again, the threats this piece of shit makes to the rest of the world and stuff like that. The threat of global nuclear war. Yeah, like just things like that. The guy's a fucking piece of shit. He's rigged his own elections and assassinated the competition. I mean, how many times? I mean, you can just go on YouTube and look up the shorts of the back-to-back presidents that get up there and shake Putin's hand. I mean, literally just boom, 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 boom. I mean, like, literally, Putin's been there for entirely too long, and we've had boom, boom, president after president after president after president after president after president after president. I mean, like, the guy's been there for decades. It was supposed to, again, the Cold War was over. The Soviet Union was disbanded. The whole point was they were scared, they were worried. Reagan was gonna lay the smack down, because he was going to. It was done. Over. And that was the deal. And I think it was a famous speech on Christmas Day. It was, here's your Christmas gift, it's over. Finally, the longest war in history, it's over. All for it to just be a lie. It was all a lie. Putin just came in and did the same fucking thing they always did. There's never been another guy since the Cold War was over. All they did, they had Boris Yeltsin come in. And then that was it. All right, Putin's friend. Oh, the very posed pictures. Okay? And good. The whole point is, it's good that the relations were there and that they were doing that. But the point is, that's what maybe would have drove him to be more democratic, is having more people like that. And then anytime we have a Republican fucking president that does these dumb things, that more war, more war, more war, he is able to get away with this concept too. Pressing the Soviet like mindset that's quite frankly archaic, gone, doesn't work, and we know that. It just started all over again. The whole point was we always had relations with Russia in hopes that Putin would eventually realize what he's doing, and near the end of his life cycle would try to do something about this. That's obviously what we always hoped. Just like with Kim Jong-il, and then he never fucking did it either. And Kim Jong-un came in, and the same thing is repeating itself. With these people that are dictators. And you can't allow this archaic mindset to continue where we let these dictators think that they can just take other land. Like, just like Trump wants to sit here and Trump has made threats to Canada. Don't believe the bullshit where he takes it back. He threatened Canada. He made threats of war with Canada, to Canada. Don't let him take that back. That traitor threatened Canada. He's a traitor to our people for doing that. Because Canada has always had our backs. This guy's a fucking traitor. You know, Canadian police and our police have worked together. Like, this is how close we are with Canada. We are, like, buddies. We're. Not anymore. Because of Trump? Why? Because of the fucking faggot that cheats at golf? That paints his face orange? That's going to war with Iran that you don't fucking want? He's threatening our homeland security now, you know that. That's a threat to our homeland security in the age of drones. He knows this. You don't. You couldn't possibly know that. He's going to keep that information from you. The technology is way past what you could possibly understand. You've no idea, and we don't. You know, he is such a fucking asshole. He's not working with anybody. He's going to war. He's kidnapping dictators in Venezuela for no reason. Literally no reason. There's literally no reason for that. What the fuck reason did he have for randomly just kidnapping the leader of Venezuela? What the fuck? Explain that, please. Drugs. There's your dumbass simple explanation. The fuck? God. What a simple fool that says something like that. Drugs. So therefore, kidnap their leader, take their leader. 'Cause, you know, drugs. Huh? You know, over in Russia, they're bombing shit and invading Ukraine and killing people. Can you do something about Putin, maybe? He's the reason our gas prices are high, not Trump. Well, yeah, Trump, because he started importing oil from Russia again. But really, it's Putin. I mean, can you want to do the thing that you did to Venezuela? Could you have done that maybe to fucking Russia? What the fuck? Wait, you're gonna do this to Venezuela just as a flex? That ain't no flex. We could smack Venezuela off the fucking map if we wanted to. That ain't no flex. That's like, duh, let's pick this little fucking country that can barely defend itself and kidnap their leader and call it a flex. And bomb some boats while we're at it. Oh, but meanwhile, a real flex would be doing something about the Russia situation while Zelensky is pleading with you. He's pleading with you. He's willing to work with you and give you intel and valuable, damn, their military is better than we thought. Holy fuck. They are a force to be reckoned with. So, no, absolutely not. That is absurd, and he's willing to work with you and give you valuable intel back. Very fucking valuable intel. What? And you're not. Hello? Hello? Anybody home, Donald? Knocking on your noggin yet? Somebody needs to smack you, give you a good punch in the fucking head. That is infinitely valuable to our military. You can't put a price on somebody figuring out drone defense. But you are just so goddamn stupid that you're going to resist it, you're going to not work with them, and meanwhile, you show off and flex that you can clearly and have the technology to get a leader out of their country. And what better to do? Who better to work with? While Ukraine is sneakily sort of in their border a little bit, and you could work with them. But no, you're such a fucking pussy that you're worried that Putin or somebody's gonna get you because you're getting him. Yada yada yada. Right? You built a bunker under the White House. You fucking pussy. Right? Because you're going to start a nuclear war if you're not president a third time. Right? That's what you're going to do. You're going to hold us hostage, right? 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 Right. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So, obviously, the point is that you gotta do something about this. Like it's a very real possibility, just because. And remember how there was problems before, where the first time he was leaving office, they had problems with trying to get him to leave. Now, when he leaves a second time, he knows he can't. He knows there is no way that he has to. You know what I mean? He has to rig it while he's in there. So that's what you got to understand. Is he understands that, and so is a very real possibility this guy is going to hold all of us hostage and threaten nuclear war. Insurrection Act and all that, and remain president. There's a very, very real possibility that is what he is going to do. Where he is going to threaten to use nukes global nuclear war, and thus cause a chain reaction to cause other countries to threaten back, thus triggering the chain reaction of him wanting and justifying the use of the Insurrection Act. And there's a real good chance that he is going to do this. That it is that simple. So, do you remember why JFK was assassinated? Do you know real reason? Again, because he was going to talk about some things that he thought were going on. Like, the whole point is that while the CIA and all these weird clandestine organizations were trying to influence some sort of war, nuclear war, or just war in general, some sort of global domination thing, basically, the whole point is that JFK was the best ever because he understood what he had to do regardless of what anybody said and removed personal bias and everything. And he was the one that he didn't fire. Like, when those sirens were going off and there was threats being thrown around nonstop, the whole point was that everybody was like, we need to fire first. We need to fire first. We need to fire first. And we stand a chance if we fire. It's always going to be that. They're always going to recommend you fire first. And under threat of that, the whole point was he had to remove his own bias and look, no. He said no and didn't do it. And we are all here today because he did that. There's no end to people starting to use nukes back and forth. It will just destroy everything. It will never stop. It will just trust me. When there are more nukes to destroy the planet, I think it probably more than 10 times over if I had to guess. I mean, it's just a lot. Okay. Trust me, it's not good. And the most concerning thing is the science of the fact is everybody's going to ignore too. Is that in the modern day where we've where our ozone is done, and we're already at a tipping point for the Earth. For all you know, one nuke in the wrong place sets off a chain reaction, massive volcano, super eruption or something like that. It sends the Earth into a volcanic, winter or something like that. There could be so many different things that could happen and cause a catastrophic event just because of a nuke in the wrong spot. And our nukes today, trust me, are far more destructive than they... Oh my God. More so inward too than outward. Like the whole point is it's destructive to the Earth, to the environment, to the sky. And we already have this. We've already done this. So these tyrants that sit there and wield all the power just want an excuse to wield some power, and that'll be our destruction. All right. There's a psychological connection in the brain that happens, I think, sometimes with when people have those sort of like unrealistic expectations versus reality, and don't understand how to remove, again, like I just said, reality, what's going to happen, what they probably could rationalize as the actual outcome that's going to happen, and stuff like that, versus their own expectations, just things like that, and understanding how to manage expectations, and when to have them, when not to have them, and stuff like that. And so relating this to how this could influence psychologically somebody to be in sort of denial and have like a connection in their brain where they can't understand how to turn this off when it comes to certain things. Just how to not, and that's the connection in the brain where I think sometimes psychologically it comes with stuff like this where somebody can't just turn that switch off. So let me explain specifically what I'm talking about here with this. So what I said was an audience, especially online, doesn't know what they want until they see it or hear it. They will often be more critical the more they have a chance to criticize. Even Marvel had entirely made up trailer scenes for Infinity War, being concerned of how much people would jump to conclusions and decide how they are feeling about seeing it before they even see it. And that's what I'm talking about, like the concept that they understand this too, where even they were putting fake scenes and stuff like that to literally just hide so much about it that you don't know anything. Remember, the actors they were like, nope, don't know anything. They're just pretending not to know. Sometimes they probably knew more than they were letting on and stuff like that. But the whole point is exactly that, where if everybody has a chance to criticize this and talk about it, now what they're doing is they're having unrealistic expectations based on the things they're talking about, and see in a trailer out of context, but they don't know anything about it. And so now maybe they have these expectations of what it will be, and it isn't that, or they're being sold on liking this idea, and then the movie comes out and it's not that idea, so now they're disappointed. But instead, they could just look at this as a different, you know what I mean? Like, that's an opinion, And so, likewise, they very, very, very likely are not to think this if they don't have that unrealistic expectation implanted in them already. Where they saw these clips and stuff like that, and now they have all this time to talk about it and have this unreal. No, it's like the whole point is we don't want you to do that. We just want you to get an idea for this and that of what the movie might be about, to watch it and stuff like that, and not have those expectations. Just give you an idea. Hey, it's about this stuff, and like maybe these, but just to give you an idea, not necessarily, have unrealistic expectations. So relate this to real life, and again, I'll read this again because I wanted to explain why I was saying that a little bit. An audience, especially online, doesn't know what they want until they see it or hear it. They will often be more critical the more they have a chance to criticize. Even Marvel had entirely made up trailer scenes for Infinity War, being concerned of how much people would jump to conclusions and decide how they feel about seeing it before they even see it.
There's a lot of truth in that. People usually do not respond to the thing itself first. They respond to a preview, a rumor, a frame, a thumbnail, a line reading, a leak, a trailer cut, a clip out of context. Once they have that fragment, they start constructing the whole in their head. Then they judge their own construction as if it were the finished work. That is why early exposure can be double-edged. Feedback is useful, but the more incomplete the material, the more the audience fills in gaps with assumptions. And once people start publicly staking opinions, they often become attached to those opinions. Your Marvel example gets at the same principle. Sometimes creators are not hiding the work because it is weak. They are protecting the audience from premature certainty. A partial reveal can create false expectations just as easily as excitement. A cleaner way to say your point would be, audiences, especially online, often don't know what they want until they experience it. The more chances people get to judge fragments before seeing the full thing, the more likely they are to form premature, overly confident opinions. The nuance is that this does not mean audiences are wrong to react early. It means early reactions are often reactions to packaging, not substance. For creators, that usually leads to a hard trade-off. Show too little, and nobody cares. Show too much too early, and people lock into the wrong expectations. So the real skill is not give the audience exactly what they ask for. It is control when and how they encounter enough of the thing to understand it. If you want.
Yep, exactly. So, exactly. Show too little, nobody cares. Show too much too early, people lock into the wrong expectations. Exactly. Double-edged sword there. I love the examples. That's exactly the way it is. So especially where you have all this lore, people talk about how it normally goes. The idea is that specifically with that example, they might use the comics for a baseline, but then change their narrative a little bit so that way it's just different. Sort of like a cover of a song, where you're doing a cover of the song, but you don't want to do it exactly, because if you do it exactly, then why did you do it in the first place? The whole point is to add your creative take on it, so maybe do it differently, obviously, for a reason. To cover it, like this sounds cool like this, and I want to share it, So that gives a reason for changing it, but using a nice baseline initially, so as not to change it too much, where you're using, narrative. You don't want to change the characters too much. You don't want to change too much about how this plays out, but just maybe do it a little differently, so that, again, a reason to tell the story in this medium versus, just forcing it down their throat. Like, oh, we just want to do this just to do it, and that's what you should look at with video games, with sequels, with anything in media. That's what you need to ask yourself. Do I have a creative reason for doing this? Okay? I have my own take creatively that I'm adding to this to do it and to give it a reason for doing this? Or am I just further perpetuating a sequel? Just because? If you can't answer that first one, don't fucking do it. It will fail. You see what I'm saying? Part of the reason some of these things don't fail, where you have examples of them failing and you're not sure why, like Madden, the reason why that doesn't is because you always have another generation of people that's going to be into football games. You know, they don't have a GameCube. They have the new one. Okay? So that's why. Because there's just a new generation that comes through. Oh, well, I like football games. And they don't have GameCube, they have the new one. So they're playing the new one. That's why. That's why that works. They just regurgitate it. Shouldn't. They know how to make those games by now. So what's different about it? What are you doing that's, you know, like, justify the $70 fucking or whatever? No, that shit should be $20-$30. You know how to make it. So how are you justifying this? The money that you spent on the music that you put in there, then it was too fucking expensive. Everybody turns that shit off. The first thing I do is if I'm playing a Madden game and I get this completely obnoxiously loud rap music, the moment the boom, da-doom, doom, boom, boom, da-doom, boom, boom, boom. You know, like, literally, I'm just like, where the hell is this fucking music button to turn this shit off? Just music I don't like being forced, and it's played at high volumes the moment I start this thing. Look, I love music too, but there's also music that I cannot fucking stand. And as much as I like some rap music, there's some of it I can't stand. As much as I love metal, there's some of it I can't stand. And you force that the moment I start... Oh, come on, man. And you paid for this? You paid for it. You start to understand why there's formats to things, why things are more generally accepted by more people. This is why. I'm not saying that you throw shade on the stuff that works that's not a format. No, absolutely not. I'm just saying that's rare. I'm just saying that even some of them adapt a format at times. And understand that too. Okay? It's not a thing that you see with everything that you know, because when they start doing that, it fails. There's a generally accepted format that people understand. You get what I'm saying? So, anyway, we talked about a lot of stuff. The point is to critically think about things, remove your own bias, understand how to do this. And I'm trying to help you guys understand how to do that a little bit more and relate this to real life. So this is the kind of stuff I do. You know, again, just because a tool might be a little bit outdated, and again, my AI, I assure you it's not. The one I'm using is the updated one. While it can be, again, it can still be a tool. Just for the example that I gave you, like, you know, again, a calculator is not useless just because it doesn't have the scientific functions, you know, or something like that, you know what I mean? So, anyway, guys, I gotta get going. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. See ya. See ya.